When I say all gun control is racist, this is what the fuck I mean. The 36th District Court in Detroit, Michigan uploaded 1 year's worth of content during the whole COVID thing, right? When everybody had to be behind that screen, right? You couldn't go into the court. They uploaded 1 year of court and judicial proceedings of men charged with possession of a firearm. Now, I know some of y'all about to jump out there, okay? Y'all gonna jump out there and y'all gonna say, oh, those guys were bad guys, they was criminals. Let me stop you before you play yourself. This year worth of video uploaded to their YouTube excluded anybody that used a firearm in the commission of a crime, and it was only for people that had a firearm without a license to carry, okay? Michigan's an open carry state, but anyone that had a firearm concealed, no crime, and had it concealed without a license, this is all of that data that they came from. Okay, so let me put you onto that game before you play yourself. Now, the next question that you might ask is, well, what prompted them to do that? This was briefs that were compiled leading up to the New York State Rifle and Pistol Association, Bruin decision, New York State, so forth and so on. Now, if you guys don't know what the Bruin decision was, this was basically the Supreme Court saying, yes, the Second Amendment is clear. If you're in the state of New York, not even just upstate, New York City as well, you have a human right to keep and bear arms and carry that on your body, okay? So in leading up to that Bruin decision, and a lot of different briefs and things were compiled, and one of those briefs sent together by, you know, folks like the Black Defenders Association, the Black Attorneys for Legal Aid, Bronx Defenders, all of those different organizations, it broke down in these briefs the differences in how gun control impacted different groups of Americans, obviously African Americans being one of them. Now let's go back to Michigan. In these findings, for 1 year worth of this footage, 99% of the people impacted by this were African American men. I want to be clear about that. 99% of the men carrying a firearm concealed without a concealed license, no other crimes, 99% black men. Out of that 99% of black men, 70% of these men had no prior criminal history. No jaywalking, no tickets, just no criminal history. So if you wanted to play yourself and be like, oh, it must have been crime, no. 99% African American men under this unconstitutional statutes, and 70% of those men had no prior criminal record. Now, when you start looking into the actual breakdown of some of these examples, right, you got guys like Javante Beard, right? This was a guy who had a pocket holster with the butt or the handle of the firearm of the handgun out of his pocket to open carry. He gets arrested, and the police inform him that because the muzzle of the firearm was not shown, he was now concealed carrying without a license. He gets arrested. He winds up copping out to 12 months probation, thousands of dollars in fees, lawyer fees, so forth and so on. That's one example. There's countless other examples. I'll put the link in here so y'all can go look at some of the YouTube footage yourself. Examples of guys that just did not know that their license was expired. So we're talking about guys that had a license to carry. Maybe they get pulled over for whatever reason, or if they're walking around, whatever, the license is expired and they still get hit with these fees. Now I'm gonna give y'all a bone olive branch too again. Some of y'all gonna say, well, just like when you're driving, you got a license and you don't have it on you, you just show up and then they throw the case out. And that makes sense. It 100% makes cases, right? Because sometimes we forget. We forget about the expiration date of our debit cards, our credit cards. We forget about the expiration dates of our passports, of our driver's license. So that logic makes sense. However, most of the counties, right, in Michigan, like Wayne County, right, they do not have a process for if something like that happens to get that off your record. They do have ARD or diversionary programs if I break into your house. So violent criminals that break into your house, they can get a second chance. But if you carry concealed in the state of Michigan, by and large, there is no diversionary program to get you your road to redemption. So bad guys get the road to redemption. You carried a firearm concealed, committed no crime, but there is no ARD or a road to redemption for you. You are absolutely a criminal overlord. That's how they playing it. Guys, this brings us to the obvious conclusion that I've been screaming with Black Guns Matter for 6 going on 7 years now. All gun control is racist. We don't need people to say, like they did in certain state constitutions, changing their state constitution saying no black men can have arms, only white men can have arms, so forth and so on. We don't need that to be said outright. If the outcomes are the same, all right? In this case, 99% of people targeted and impacted by this are black men for a constitutionally protected right. the vast majority, no criminal history, as well as this is supposed to be a Second Amendment, constitutional, human, natural law right, we have to come to the logical conclusion that they want this outcome to be this way. They just don't want to say it outright. And I know some of y'all are going to be like, oh, because it's not really racist. We're in a post-racial America. Listen, most things in America are not racist. Some of them are. Some of them are systemic. Gun control is one of them. So it asks us to look at that logical conclusion. It also makes us ask, well, what's the point of having licenses to carry other than generating revenue for the state? 27 states in America are what's known as constitutional carry states, which means you can purchase a firearm lawfully, you can conceal it without a license to carry in 27 states. That's more constitutional carry states than states that you have to have a license to carry. Now, with all of the gloom and doom that they said that constitutional carry states would have, there has been no major uptick in violent crime in those states that have constitutional carry. Actually, the 3 safest states in America, Vermont, Maine, and New Hampshire, are constitutional carry states. So we haven't seen violence uptick as more states are adopting constitutional carry. The licensing practices, like in this case, is targeting black people. Black people are losing job opportunities. Black people are getting strikes on their record for an arbitrary rule that has no way of redemption, as well as is in violation of the Constitution and the Bill of Rights of America. What's the point of these things? There would only need these things to be if we wanted people to catch cases, to be charged, to go to jail, and tie them into the 13th Amendment so they can violate their rights. That's the only outcome. It doesn't make Americans safer. It isn't better for the economy. It isn't increasing violent crime if we do it the opposite way. The reality is what I said. All gun control is racist, and this Detroit, Michigan just is another example of that. But I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I got it wrong. Maybe y'all are going to say something in the comment sections that's going to show me how, Maj, you're not that smart. Maj, you're wrong. Forget it. Maj is mostly right, but not this time. Comment below. Tell me what your perspective is. Also, guys, get over to solutionaryuniversity.org. Register for upcoming classes, not just the basic firearms. Civics. This is a part of civics. Civics classes. Stop the bleed classes. We need to empower and inform ourselves. Also, follow the social media accounts. Maj Toure 999, Big Daddy Toure on Instagram, Maj Toure 999 on Twitter. Follow all of the channels, subscribe, share this video, and remember, guys, your Second Amendment and civics journey is an everyday endeavor. Be safe, be solutionary.